up on Primetime News tonight, Sri Lankan nationals stage a hunger strike at a detention centre in Australia. How do these Sri Lankans illegally enter Australia? A comprehensive report coming up on the news right now.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shen Silva.
And I'm Aruniti Mudanayaka. First a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
MTV, NBC and its journalists threaten once again, complaint lodged with the police. US says the twin explosions in Boston will be treated as an act of terror. Sri Lanka cricket elections over, chairman and secretary elected uncontested. And major earthquake in southeast Iran, over 30 reported dead.
And now for the stories in detail. Information has come to light of a threat against MTV and NBC networks and journalists attached to the institution. Accordingly, representatives of MTV and NBC lodged a complaint with the Slave Island police today.
Information has come to light that a certain group is plotting to launch an attack targeting MTV and NBC and journalists working there. Information has also come to light that the plotters are gathering information on News First journalists. It is also reported that these persons are inquiring into a news report telecast on News First last week and the journalists who worked on that report. Information has come to light that the staff at the Ratmalana or Colombo offices could be the target of their planned attack. Accordingly, officials of MTV and NBC lodged a complaint with the Slave Island police today, considering the safety of MTV and NBC staff. This morning, we received information of a threat and a possible attack on MTV and NBC networks and News First journalists. We lodged a complaint with the Slave Island police today, and I think that the police will inquire into this. We lodged this complaint on behalf of our security. MTV and NBC networks have been the target of attacks on several occasions in the past. We are informing the public of this threat because 2 days prior to the January 2009 attack on our studio complex in Depanama, a complaint had been lodged with the police regarding such a threat. The studio complex was attacked 2 days later. Given that such incidents have taken place in the past, we are paying strict attention to this matter. The MTV-NBC studio complex in Depanama attacked. Senior journalist Lasantha Wickramatunge assassinated. Journalist Prageet Eknaligoda missing. A hand grenade attack on the Udaya newspaper office in Jaffna. The head office of MTV-NBC is attacked. Several employees are injured, property damaged. The Siatha Media Institution is also attacked. A journalist from the Udaya newspaper is attacked. The Udaya newspaper office in Jaffna is attacked yet again. The Udaya newspaper office and journalists have been attacked on 33 instances. These are only some of the attacks that have been levelled at media institutions and journalists.
Security has been stepped up around the US after twin explosions in the US city of Boston. Nadim Majid is at Studio 2 with the latest developments. Nadim, over to you.
Thank you, Shane. Well, the explosions occurred late last night Sri Lankan time as runners were crossing the finishing line at the Boston Marathon. Now, we have received footage of the moment of the explosion. Our latest reports indicate that 3 people were killed in the twin explosions, which left at least 140 injured, according to some reports. We advise viewer discretion. An 8-year-old boy was among those killed in the explosions. A White House official said the explosions occurred just after 3 p.m. or 1850 GMT yesterday. A senior police official said that 2 more explosive devices were found near the scene of the explosions and had been dismantled. The blast happened about 3 hours after the winners crossed the finishing line as thousands of runners finished the 117th running of the Boston Marathon, with crowds watching and cheering at the finish. There was a loud explosion on the north side of Boylston Street just before the bridge that marks the finish line. Another explosion could be heard a few seconds later. A Rhode Island State Police officer who was running in the event said he saw at least 24 people with very serious injuries, including missing limbs. The race is the world's oldest annual marathon, with 28,000 runners representing every US state and more than 90 nations.
We were rooting on our friend. We were like, oh yeah, like go. And then it was like, boom. And then, you know, both of us, like, we've been to Afghanistan. You expect that there. I didn't expect that here. So, like, I was like, oh, like, celebration. So I was like, yeah, like, that's awesome. And then everyone started screaming and running towards us. And I was like, dude, what the going on? Everyone was like a bomb. And me and him jumped over the railing and ran down there.
And there were just families all around us with kids, I mean, yelling and screaming. And, I mean, we just wanted to try and get away as quick as possible. But I mean, even being around the tall buildings, it's scary.
Yeah, it was loud. It was really, really loud. And then people, just chaos everywhere.
Meanwhile, Massachusetts General Hospital said it was treating 22 patients, including 8 critical cases, with injuries ranging from cuts and bruises to amputations. The FBI has commenced an investigation into the incident. A White House official said the incident will be handled as an act of terror. The FBI has taken over coordination of what it described as a potential terrorist inquiry. Officers have already begun poring over video and photographs from the marathon. As a massive security operation swung into operation, the Federal Aviation Administration barred low-flying aircraft from within 5.6 kilometers of the site. Key sites in Washington, D.C., New York and Los Angeles have also seen security tightened. Federal authorities are classifying the explosions as a terrorist attack, but it is not clear whether its origin was domestic or foreign. Boston police say officers are working around the clock and all leave has been cancelled.
This cowardly act will not be taken in stride. We will turn every rock over to find the people who are responsible for this. We're working very closely with my partner, Rick Delorier. The Boston Police Department is on the scene and has been there since this incident happened. There's been a horrendous loss of life. At least 3 people have died in this event.
As you all know, this whole community has been dealing with a horrific event today. 2 explosions on Boylston Street near the finish line of today's Boston Marathon. Over 100 people were injured, some gravely. We are not ready yet to confirm the details of those injuries. There are federal, state, and local law enforcement all on scene and coordinating very closely. The FBI has taken charge of the investigation.
In Washington, President Barack Obama said, quote, any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice. Let's take a quick look at what the US President had to say.
Make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this. And we will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this. Any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice.
Now, 3 hours before tragedy struck, Ethiopia's Lelisa Desisa and Kenya's Rita Jeptu won the men's and women's Boston Marathon respectively. The News First International desk is continuing to monitor the developments on this story. For now, it's back to the main news desk.
Well, thank you, Nadeem, for that comprehensive update. And moving on to another one of our headline-making stories. Jayanta Dharmadasa was appointed as the president of Sri Lanka Cricket for the next 2 years. Current Secretary of SLC, Nishant Ranatunga, was reappointed to the post. The Sri Lanka Cricket election and the annual general meeting for the year 2013 was held today at the BMICH.
Jayanta Dharmadasa, who was elected uncontested as the president of SLC, previously served as the president of the SLC Interim Committee from 2005 to 2007. Nishant Ranatunga too was elected uncontested for the post of secretary. K. Madhivanan with 113 votes and Mohan De Silva with 81 votes fended off competition from Asanga Seneviratne to occupy the 2 positions of vice president. Hiranta Pereira, Bandula Disanayaka and Priyantha Zoisa contested for the post of assistant treasurer. Priyantha Zoisa then withdrew from the election, stating that he did so in support of Bandula Disanayaka, but it was Hiranta Pereira who won the race with 79 votes. Nusgi Mohammed, who received 87 votes, was elected as the treasurer of SLC ahead of contestant Isman Narangoda. Ajitha Pascal was elected as the assistant treasurer of SLC, beating Erwin Javadna. While 147 voters were eligible to vote at the elections, 3 did not participate.
A media briefing was held at the PMICH following the conclusion of the Sri Lanka cricket elections.
We'll have more of that story later on in the news bulletin. In the meantime, President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that he will not give priority to elections over development. The president made this statement at the opening of the Immigration Resource Centre in Yayawatha, Tangol today.
The centre, which was opened today, is the first in a series of training and immigration resources centres being constructed across the island by the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Service Bureau. The centre was constructed at a cost of 350 million rupees and is complete with modern facilities.
They imposed sanctions on Iran, they tried to punish Iran, and through that small countries like us were punished. It is not only Sri Lanka that is affected by this. Everyone that traded with Iran to obtain cheap oil has been affected. This is why we are facing such difficulties in our countries. We receive employment opportunities abroad, we receive a massive income from this, and these people are always special to us. They are a great influence on our economy.
Certificates were presented to 273 women who completed a training program for employment opportunities in Italy.